in the video, you saw that Kent was saying that, like the rungs of a ladder are base pairs. Like the double helix is like a spiraled ladder, and the rungs that go across. He said that they're genes, which they're not. Like in Thunderfoot's part of the video, you can see you have to kind of zoom out.
Oh, I remember I was gonna say.
Call it.
Okay.
What I was gonna say is that on all the videos that I've seen of people, debunking like all the stuff he says, they all basically have said that, like, how could he talk about evolution so much and not know how it works? Like, he'll describe something that is exactly evolution, say, no, that's not evolution, this is evolution. Like evolution.
Yeah. It's because he doesn't want to risk actually learning what it is, because if he understands it, he might start to accept it, and he has to remain ignorant in order to keep up his con job, because I've heard a lot of people say that, Kent Hovind, he's just lying about everything, and he knows what evolution is, and he knows all the stuff he's saying is not true. And I'm like, no, like the stuff that he says that he believes, he really believes it, because he's such a narcissist that when you lie to yourself for long enough like that, you will start to believe your own crap, especially when you surround yourself with yes men.
See, like, the thing is, like if you've seen any videos of people replying to basically any creationist, they'll say, they'll probably mention like the echo chamber, like one or twice.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
like, I can't speak for anyone else, but when I was a Christian, the church was just an echo chamber for me, because it's almost that I could predict what they're going to say, because they're like, they'll start talking about something and like, look at that, that's a miracle, like only God can do something like that.
Yeah.
And at the very end, they'll just start saying God is great, because God is great. And there was a kids section. There was a kids area, which I'm glad that they, moved the kids from the adults, because like that's like, because if adults and kids are supposed to be equivocated in the same area, then you might not be teaching the right thing. Because, like, that's why, you're not teaching kindergartners and high schoolers in the same, like, room,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's like with Noah's Ark. They show the adults how violent and genocidal that story was, but for kids, they have the the watered down version where you have the pictures of the ark with the giraffe's head sticking out, and it looks really cute, and the story is actually kind of changed, where they tell the kids that God didn't, or this, when I was in Sunday school, they told us that God didn't cause the flood. They said that God was warning Noah about a flood that was coming, and I can actually remember.
And he couldn't stop it.
Right? I don't know. Apparently not.
Powerful if he couldn't stop it.
Yeah. Well, that when I was in Sunday school, I could remember that was pretty much the moment that I became an atheist, was the day that they told us about Noah's Ark. And from that point on, I couldn't believe it anymore at all. Like, cause and then I tried to ask my teacher some questions, and she got really mad at me.
Oh yeah. if you watch the Thunderfoot the internet where religions come to die, he
Yeah.
says that um, on the internet people ask questions that normally would be frowned upon. You know.
Yeah. Well, I saw a video yesterday from this channel that I'll link to you. That's really cool. That kind of talks about some of that stuff. But so this next clip in this video, I actually got the chance to talk to Kent Hovind over the phone because he was having Discord call-ins, and so I told him about the rungs on the ladder, about how they're not genes, that they're base pairs. So,
But before you play the clip, I like I just want to say, um, like if you've watched any live stream with Kent and they say something, they're like, oh yeah, you're just they'll say something about Kent and he'll go, that's not true, and he'll look up and say like, am I whatever, and all of them will go, no, you're not, that's not true. Like, of course they'll agree with you. Like,
right, they're not
they've
going to
been told
contradict
to
him in
agree
front
with
of
you.
yeah,
Because
they're
people,
not going to contradict him in front of everybody in the room and in front of everybody online. They're not going to say, no, this is definitely a cult. Like, it's so, their opinion
yeah,
is basically worthless.
yeah. The thing is, what would be ironic is if on a live stream, someone says like, you're just running a cult, and he goes, this isn't a cult, right? And someone in the background says, yes, here. You know what a cult would do if someone said that? Tell them to get him out of here.
Yeah, well, Kent has kicked people out for challenging him before. Like Deborah, the girl that I don't know if you know about Theo and his channel, but this girl, Deborah, was there, and I think she used to work as a clerk for a judge. So when she found out that Kent Hovind was trying to start a campaign to get the judge who sentenced him impeached, and he was basically trying to tell people like, "Hey, sign this petition, and when I win my case and they pay me all this money, I'll pay you back." Basically, he didn't, he kind of said that indirectly. And when she found that out, she called Kent out on it, and he kicked her out, and he
Yeah.
forced her to leave. And she said that I still have clothes in the dryer in the washer. I need to pack my clothes, and he told her that she can go fold her clothes in the street outside, and he tried to bribe her to leave with money and like a tent, and like he was like, if you leave by this time, I'll give you like $200. If you leave by this time, I'll give you 100. Like,
Wow.
it's ridiculous. Like, there's
Yeah.
a
Yeah, like if you didn't need any more proof of him being a con man.
yeah, he bribes people a lot. Like, he says in his videos like, oh, just tell your kids that you'll pay them lots of money to watch my tapes or something like that.
Oh, like, and you know what? Like his first video, like one of the first things he says, like once he got out of prison, he says, "Well, I just got out of prison for um for like tax evasion or something like that. One of those
He'll
kinds
always
of."
say
And he says
for
like,
the
and he
dumbest
says,
law ever.
one of the dumbest laws. Like, oh yeah, all those other laws that that says all this stuff, like including the one that like all the ones that don't agree with them, they're stupid laws because they're
Well,
disagreeing.
if he went to jail for violating the dumbest law ever, doesn't that make him dumb for falling for that?
Yeah,
That's the way I see it.
and like one thing before you start the video,
Okay.
like I, you know how he says that science is a religion?
Well, he doesn't say that all of science is. It's just the science that he can't fit into his
It's just
literal
it's
view of the
just the
Bible.
it's just the religion. It's just the part of science that says otherwise of what he thinks.
It's basically just his 6 levels of evolution, even though they're not all part of evolution, but those 6 things are the science that he disagrees with. And
Yeah,
then
even
some
though
and
like 5 of them already have names that aren't
yeah,
evolution related. But
yeah.
the thing is, like, I think he says that science, like that part of science, is a religion, not because he genuinely thinks that, but because that would be breaking the law that they're not supposed to teach any specific kind of religion in schools.
Oh, of course. That's the entire reason.
And the thing is, like, the way he says it is, oh, you rather teach both or none. It's like, well, there is no both. It's
Yeah,
all.
they already had court cases where they tried to pass these equal time laws, and those laws failed. They weren't able to pass. Like creationism or intelligent design have already lost in court. And yet he always says, in a court of law, blah blah blah. Like my side would win, but
And the
just
thing is, like, like, oh wait, no, you can start the video. We got
okay.
distracted.
It's only like a little bit left, but this clip is pretty funny.
This Hovind's earlier lack of genomes, and one is left with a deep
rungs of the ladder.
Okay, let me
You
just turn.
some mistakes in your CSE class videos about chromosomes where you say that the rungs of the ladder are genes. They're not genes, they're base pairs. And there's a couple other mistakes too. I was just wondering if you were going to correct these, considering you're selling those CSE classes and you also have those videos listed in your playlist tab of your channel. So, okay, I'll mute now.
Oh yeah, certainly. I don't know how I go back and correct it now. If in the future, if I said something wrong, the other night someone walked in the room and I said, "Welcome to Pensacola." That was a mistake. I live in Lenox, Alabama, but I did live in Pensacola for 30 years, so I guess that's understandable when your mind is on something else. So yeah, the rungs of the ladder on the DNA molecule. The DNA molecule is just mind-boggling in its complexity. Anyone can believe that happened by chance. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I never said it happened by chance. So I mean, he
Yeah, yeah,
basically had nothing to say, basically.
yeah. The thing is, like, the thing is, they really like to say, like, well, like some, you know, evolutionists say that, chance, but technically it's not really chance. There's quite a few things that you can expect. Like, if it flies, it rather has hollow bones or like really big wingspan. Or, they're not gonna have their brains sticking out of their head because that would not benefit them at all in evolution. Like technically that is possible, but that would be, selective breeding.
Yeah, well, it's like 98% of the species that have ever existed on Earth have died. So if
Yeah.
evolution is based on chance, where it just tries everything it can, well, clearly then most of it didn't work. So clearly the fittest animals survived. So it's not really chance that you know. Eagles or hawks have really great eyes because they need to be able to see, and animals have different functions and different abilities that help them survive. Like, humans, the way they developed sweat glands, and they have really low body hair, but they have hair on the top of their head. It's because our ancestors lived in Africa, where
Yeah.
they needed to have protection for the top of their heads, but they also needed to get all that heat off of them. And humans, they're the way they sweat, they're able to get rid of more heat by far than any other mammal. it's a huge gap, you know.
Yeah, and since like, most other creatures couldn't really like develop as well as we did in Africa, you know, the evolutionarily we kind of developed more on the intelligent side. Because,
Well,
once
the
like
reason
once we
the reason
develop
that
once we develop the understanding that, this rock, which is sharper, can cut through this particular kind of, or it can cut through animals a lot easier than this blunt rock. And if we hit this rock with another rock, it becomes sharp. And since, there are some monkeys that have actually kind of gotten to that point right now.
right, like I think some scientists say that chimps might be entering the Stone Age. But the reason I think that humans, or like our ancestors, like Homo erectus and the like, and even like Lucy, the reason that humans became the smartest animals on the planet was because we started walking bipedally and walking upright. And once we were able to walk upright, we had the vertical spinal column, and that was able to support a much bigger brain and a bigger brain case in the skull.
And like a
So
broader chest.
yeah, so that's why we were able to grow brains that were so big.
Yeah, because
Although
originally, it was just our neck. If our brains got too big, our necks would snap. And obviously,
right,
that's
and
not very good evolutionary wise.
well, the big brains that humans developed, actually, it did come at a cost, because infant mortality was so high, many years ago. Part of the
Yeah,
reason of that was because we have such big heads that it causes a lot of bleeding and a lot of complications when
and
we give birth. Like,
yes, it's like since we were able to stand up, our brains got bigger. But the thing is, our waists got thinner because for most animals, basically that walk on four legs, they're their chest to waist are kind of the same shape, like, or the same size, I mean. But since we stood up, our waists got thinner.
yeah, I think that's probably that probably has to do with
And
the
that's why,
abdominal muscles getting stronger to hold up that vertical posture. And you know that would just be my guess. I'm not sure about that, but I think gorillas are kind of more like barrel chested. Like, they don't really have a stomach that, or like hips that go in. But if you look at a chimpanzee standing up, they're ripped, but they have similar kind of shapes. Their torso, they have a thinner waist. And the funny thing about chimps is, if you look at their ears, they're identical to human ears. They look exactly the same. Like, I would just, I would like Ken Hovind to explain that. Okay. Well, I think we're almost at like an hour now, so I'm probably gonna end the stream here. But it was definitely fun though. Like, this is the first time I've actually had a guest on to like react to a video with me, so it was fun. Like, I've been live streaming a lot lately, and I've definitely been enjoying it because it's a lot easier than making videos, and it's quick and fast, and people can watch live.
So can you like stop the YouTube recording and so we could talk private? Or is that
Yeah,
just
I think I can. I'm gonna end the
okay?
broadcast.